Our next speaker, Anushka Velu, is a 16-year-old student who lives on creativity and caffeine. With a love for art and writing, she's always seeking new ways to express herself and challenge the status quo. Known for embracing change in every aspect of her life, Anushka shares in her speech today how discomfort, rather than being something to avoid, can be a powerful guide towards self discovery and growth.
This is chocolate cake. Delicious looking chocolate cake, right? Would you all eat this cake if I told you that it had been poisoned? No, right? I really hope not. And let's say you do. Let's say you choose to take a bite of this poisoned cake. Now, would you blame this cake if you got sick? Any no's, please? No, right? Of course not. Then why do you and I, us humans, keep things in our lives that we know are no good for us, and then blame them for the consequences that we brought upon ourselves? That is a classic example of cognitive dissonance. Fancy words, I know, but a rather simple concept. Cognitive dissonance is when our actions don't align with what we know is best for us. It's that feeling of unease when you know something needs to change, but you're either too comfortable or you're too afraid to take that step. We see it everywhere, come on. From the unhealthy habits we cling to the toxic relationships we tolerate, or even those outdated beliefs that we just can't let go of. Hi, I'm Anushka, and if there's one thing I'm known for in my household, it's that I'm always changing. Whether it be my furniture, my career goals, or even my personality. No matter how exhausting it may seem, Anushka is always changing. Now, speaking of change, imagine this dissonance amplified during times of change, when the world around us is shifting and we're forced to confront new realities. Whether it's a societal shift, a career change, or even that personal transformation that's been due for the past 4 years. It's in these moments of change that the discomfort of cognitive dissonance is intensified. We're caught between the pull of what's familiar and the push of what is necessary. But hear me out. This discomfort that we feel, this internal conflict that we all experience, is no enemy to us. It's like the big red letters that spell TEDx that led you to this auditorium. It's the zodiac and horoscope gurus my mom listens to for a sign. And it's the fallen eyelash, the four-leaf clover, and the 11:11 on the clock that we all make wishes to. It's a signpost pointing us towards growth. Riding the winds of change isn't about denying the dissonance or avoiding the discomfort within us. It's about embracing it. Change challenges us to rethink our beliefs, to question the habits we've long held on to, and most importantly, to confront the parts of ourselves that resist growth. It's in this tension, in this friction, that the potential for transformation even lies. Change is not easy, and it's not always pleasant. But if there's one thing about change, it's that it is an inevitable part of life. And it might sound completely insane coming from a 16-year-old, but the key to approach it is to do so with a mindset of openness and curiosity rather than one of fear. Because when we allow ourselves to embrace the discomfort of cognitive dissonance, we also allow ourselves to grow and evolve in ways we may have never even imagined. Now, speaking so much of change, of course, I need to talk about myself. So let me tell you all about my 2024 summer goal. Learning how to play chess. Sounds simple, right? I mean, how hard can it be moving a few pieces on a checkered board. How hard? Well, I learned the hard way that chess is a lot like math, or actually a lot like life even. Way more complicated than it looks. There's strategy, there's foresight, and most importantly, there's the ability to adapt when your carefully laid plans go south. Picture this, me and Nishka sitting in front of a chessboard. This chessboard, if you will. I've got the Queen's Gambit background music playing on full volume, and I've told myself, Anushka, you're a grandmaster in the making. I've got my queen, the most powerful piece on the board, the queen, and I'm ready to charge. But out of nowhere, practically out of thin air, my knight gets cornered. My rook is trapped. And my queen, the most powerful piece on the board, my queen, is starting to look more like a damsel in distress. And staring at my damsel in distress, I realized something. I realized that chess is a game of constant change. Everyone starts with a plan. But as the game unfolds, you are forced to adapt. You are forced to rethink your strategy. And you are forced to make moves you would have never anticipated to make. It's like riding the winds of change in real time. One moment, you're gliding through it, and the next, you're barely holding on. But as my parents say, hi, Mom and Dad, isn't that the beauty of it? Every piece on the chessboard has its own way of moving, its own strengths, its own limitations, its own weaknesses. The knight can leap in unexpected directions. The bishop glides diagonally across the board. And the pawn, the most humble piece on the board, the pawn, has the potential to become anything it wants, if it's brave enough to move forward. It's a reminder that, like in chess, the only constant in all of our lives is change. And the only way for any of us to win is to adapt. So the next time you're faced with a situation that challenges your comfort zone, picture that poison cake or a gruesome game of chess and recognize the dissonance within you. And instead of letting it paralyze you, let it guide you. Let it navigate you through those very winds of change. Because ultimately, it's not the storm that defined us, it's how we choose to sail through it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duraivalu.